can save the galaxy, I just can't sit down properly. So.
All right, I'm going to have them go down the line and introduce themselves and just take care of one frequently asked question now, and so have you all tell us how you got to voice acting.
I have to say I got to voice acting?
Yeah, introduce yourself.
Oh, hi. I'm Courtenay Taylor. I play Jack. I got into voice acting. I managed a boxing gym, and I tore up my throat pretty badly from screaming at people, so it was good practice for Jack. And I went to I applied for a master's program in acting, and the guy was like, "Your voice sucks, and I won't take you unless you go to a doctor and get that fixed, and you'll never play Juliet." And I was like, I'm actually pretty cool with that. And then I went and took a class, and I was like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. It's awesome. And then I booked my first audition, which was for a hospital. So I did a hearing and kind voice. And that doesn't get used very much anymore, but yeah.
Hello, I'm Mark Meer. I play Blasto. Tricia and a bunch of Polis and various aliens and mercs. And, Commander Shepard, I guess. Yeah. Is there some kind of convention or something going on? Because I dress like this all the time. Hello, yeah, good to see you. And so as for how I got into voice acting, the story old as time. I used to manage a boxing gym and I tore up my voice. The old-fashioned way, I went to an audition back in the day when BioWare was still holding general auditions, and I basically impressed them enough with my one audition that they just kept rehiring me and hiring me and hiring me, and eventually gave me a nice big part, so that's how you do it.
Hi, I'm Kimberly Brooks. And it's an awesome role. I got into voiceover, age-old story. Went to voiceover classes and studied acting. And I actually booked my very first audition, which was a really good omen. And then I had another audition for these people I had taken a voiceover class with Townsend and Townsend. Do you know what I'm talking about? Yes. Okay.
I just heard camel go and camel go.
Camel very big operation. And I booked my second job, and I was like, maybe I should do this. This is pretty cool. And I've been doing it for years, and it's been amazing. I get to be here doing this. So, thank you.
My name is Michael Hogan. I'm a flip phone carrying Luddite. I'm not a gamer per se. I have to research the games before I do them, but I don't play them afterwards. But I've done about 4 or 5 video games. The CBC, I'm from Canada, and the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, we used to do an awful lot of radio drama, audiobooks, poetry readings at the studios in Toronto and in Vancouver. So I have been using my voice since 1969, I guess, when I left National Theatre School. But unfortunately, with the grant, with the government cutbacks, those wonderful, wonderful studios that used to have the Foley's and the sound guy eating your meal for you as you're doing the radio drama and walking for you as you're speaking. Unfortunately, they're empty, absolutely empty. But coming to Mass Effect, they asked me to come in and do this role because they had seen Battlestar Galactica. It's in the ship. It's in the fracking ship. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it, guys.
I'm Tricia Helfer. cartoons and animated features and things, and it's a lot of fun. But I definitely have Battlestar to thank for getting into the voiceover area of acting, because my first game, some of the creators of the show of the game were Battlestar fans, and they thought it was cool to have number 6, just like you had Salt High. So I'm very thankful for that.
Awesome. Where are you at? Okay. All right. So if you have a question, since there are a ton of you, I'm going to have you come to the center, line up, don't run. That's don't fall.
How many people in this room?
A lot. Like,
A lot of
I was
people.
told there were like 1,100 seats in this room or something like that.
Really? Well, thanks for showing up, folks.
Yeah.
You guys look awesome. I'm looking around and there's some kick-ass cosplay. You guys are great.
We got some Asari down here. We got bullets, some Solarians.
We got a Jack!
I was, the reason I'm looking at this, I was at the N7 costume room photo shoot. There were quite a number of Jacks, including a Rule 63 male Jack.
Alright, all Jacks must report to the signing hall at 5 p.m. because I want to check them out.
When you're waiting in line to ask a question, please kneel if you are able. If you're not, whatever. Just on black people, you know, it's whatever.
I was like, what's happening? It's cool.
Very good.
Oh, I thought like the person asking the question had to like kneel as that. Please avert your eyes.
They speak now.
All right, floor's yours.
If there was a certain game that got y'all into maybe wanting to do it, I know like y'all wouldn't do it when y'all were younger or nothing, but like was there a certain game that kind of propelled y'all to want to do voice acting for it?
Actually, yeah, there is a specific game that, you know, like I played games growing up, and I'm a big nerd and whatnot. But there was a specific game that really made me want to work for BioWare, and that was MDK2, which was a game that BioWare did back in the 90s. And a bunch of friends of mine got to be the voices on it. So I was insanely jealous, and so I was just like waiting, looking anytime that I got a chance to audition for BioWare. And so the first thing I got to audition for them for was, I believe, Baldur's Gate 2. Which has recently been re-released as enhanced editions, and so I got to sort of revisit some of my very earliest voice work ever, and they've added like new characters and adventures and things like that. So nice to go back to the Forgotten Realms. So yeah, DK2.
For me, it was, I had a friend that worked at Activision, and this was a long time ago. And I was doing cartoon voices, and he knew I did voices, and he said, you should come do some voices on this game. There was no union affiliation. They were basically using, game testers and whatnot. And the game was called Dark Rain. I don't know if anybody remembers that game. It's really old. But I did the computer voice throughout the whole thing, and then I was out somewhere, and somebody recognized my voice from that computer game. Oh my God, this is super cool. So that ended up being something for me that made me really want to do games.
I'm a huge animal cat fanatic, and I got to do Black Cat in Spider-Man Web of Shadows, so that was pretty fun for me. But quick funny story, I had done a couple of video games, and they're all fairly adult content, right? Even though they're for kids a lot. But I got asked to do, before the video game, Black Cat, I got asked to do Black Cat, and I thought it was for the video game. And I go in there and I'm reading, and I'm kind of making a really purry, and I found out after I had done my first session, it turned out to be a children's morning cartoon. And so when I went back to do the next episode, I said to the guys, the sound guys, I was like, I think I made her a little too sexy, and they were laughing. They were like, yeah, it was on the verge, but they didn't say anything. And then when the cartoon came out, one of the reviews said, and Tricia Helfer makes a lot of 10-year-old boys reach puberty. Looking at you, baby.
I'm very lucky. My question, however, is actually for Tricia. I was just wondering. I have a question for you when there's time.
It's okay. We'll talk later.
How did voicing Edie change for you when she got a body in the third game?
It was, in one way it was more fun. It was always fun doing Edie, and I have to be right up front here. Like Hogan said, I don't play games. So I kind of, you shoot this stuff or you tape it years ago, and actually you don't get a script. So many times the first time I was reading a line, it was being recorded. And where we recorded in Los Angeles, or where I recorded, it's all on a computer monitor now, so you can't even flip ahead while they're talking and start looking at your lines ahead. One line will come on the screen, and you read it while you're recording. You read it a few times until they think they have it, and then you move on, another line pops up. And you're literally reading it for the first time as the record button is on. So it's really hard to get a basis of what's going on if you don't actually play the game afterwards. And I'm about the most technologically challenged person there is, so I think console would probably break up or like blow up if I attempted to play. But so it's hard to, you may be disappointed in some of my answers, I apologize. But Edie was a lot of fun when she got a robotic body, and she would flirt a little bit more with Joker than, I think at some point I was on his lap and sitting on his lap, I think at one point, wasn't it? Yeah, so I think that's the best part of having a robotic body. I can have a little bit more fun interaction with Joker.
Right, okay, now what's that? Okay. I love you all, but this is mainly directed toward Miss Helfer and Mr. Hogan. When you were recording, how often would you say frack when you messed up the script? Or did you at all?
I didn't at all because I surprisingly never once on Battlestar was ever said frack. I tried to slip it in improv at once and they didn't. So you said it a lot though.
I said frack a lot. And it's funny, when we first started the show and they were saying frack, I thought they were not going to get away with it. And God's damn it. You can say God's damn it, but you can't say God damn it. But now I say God's damn it all the time. And also, like, I think it's Stackoff would say, or Starbuck would say, I need a really good frack. I got a frack somewhere. They get away with it now, but it's amazing how large that's become, the usage of it. I say frack often now. And I'm sure recording, I probably say frack every once in a while, but I didn't mess up very often.
I said something else a lot.
Oh, okay. Well, hi. So if there ever is a live action movie, God forbid, you all were unable to play your characters, who would you fan cast to play your movie?
Let's start with you as always.
It just popped into my head that probably Firuza Balk. Somebody like, I mean, I don't know, I'm trying to think of somebody who would be convincingly loony enough. And she kind of popped into my head. It's a great question, but I may change my mind. Go on.
Let's see, for male shepherd, yeah, I don't think there's much chance of me getting cast as male shepherd, because underneath this armor I'm a scrawny bastard. So yeah, someone a little more conventional action hero. I think, you think of space and someone who's in charge of the ship, and my mind always goes to my old friend Nathan Fillion. Also, another guy that I think of, is Firefly castmate, Adam Baldwin might be really. I was going to go to jail for him and put me out of a job. Great. All right.
But I'm playing Jack.
Yeah.
Just so you know. Like, no one's taking that role.
Well, this is interesting. Do we get someone that looks like me or someone that looks like Ashley? That's a big range.
I think you're the casting agent, so you decide. You can cast like Robert De Niro if you want.
That would be a very interesting casting choice. Maybe somebody super hot, like says what she thinks. I don't know. What do you think? You're good, you know. Yeah, Mark's
Interesting. All right, can we cast anyone across time? We go
back in time.
Goldie Hawn from Private Benjamin. I just grabbed that out of the air. It's your choice. You gotta
That would work, though.
Yeah.
That would totally work.
Edward J. Donalds. We're not recording this, are we?
I think mine would be CGI. I'm fairly certain it would be CGI.
I am not worthy. Anyway, I do actually have a question. For all of you, actually. What do you think, in your mind, was defining the character for each of your characters? Like, defining the line for each of your characters. Like, I think Grunt's defining one was, I don't need luck, I have ammo.
We're not just going me first. Start that. Oh gosh, you'll have to tell me some of my lines. When that comes to mind, that was a joke.
This is not one of his lines. This is me saying, I have no idea, you tell me.
I've already said this one.
Let's hear it.
How come whenever somebody says with all due respect, you guys know Russ, right? I mean, that pretty much defines Ashley, right? Ah.
I should go. Shepherd is a busy person with places to go.
So many.
If you'd gotten first, it would be over by now.
I always go to, touch me and I will smear the walls with you, bitch! But I also like from 3, take your balls out of your purse, Rodriguez, and go kick some ass. That's my arc in those 2.
Thank you. Mark, I've been curious. One of the things about Mass Effect that I think appeals to the whole audience is the diversity of the character. You can choose your background, how you play them, good, bad, rogue, all that in between. So I know you've all voiced a bunch of different lines for a bunch of different options. My question was, which of the different Shepard personas was the most fun to play? And also, will you be signing autographs with?
I'll answer the second part first. I will be signing autographs, but only on Monday, because if I sign during the rest of the con, I miss DragonCon. And so yeah, I'm going to be DragonCon. But I will be signing on Monday on the Walk of Fame, and I believe we've got some Froggy's photos in the morning on Monday as well. But 10 a.m. I think, way too early for someone who's going to be up all night. But here, I'll be there. So the other question, I believe, what was the other question? Oh, the persona of Shepard. Yeah, well, that's the thing, because with Shepard, there is no defining persona. Like, every Commander Shepard is just as valid as everybody else's Commander Shepard. And it was a really interesting challenge for both Jennifer and myself to approach a character who was going to be determined entirely by the player. So, you could ask her or me, and we couldn't say definitively, no, Commander Shepard wouldn't say this. Like, Commander Shepard might do all kinds of things. Commander Shepard could be anything from a completely selfless hero to an utterly ruthless bastard. So yeah, I tried to give both equal weight, but let's face it, the Renegade lines were a lot more fun. Especially, Renegade interrupts and things like that, punching out reporters, throwing people out of windows. That's generally more fun. That's just more fun.
My question is, how fun was it to make the Citadel DLC? The party scene was hilarious.
Yeah, the Citadel DLC was my favorite DLC on the Citadel. It was you know, it was the last thing coming out, so it was kind of the culmination of everything that came before. It was a lot of closure that, you know, some people had issues with the third game because they didn't feel that it had the same kind of closure, the emotional closure with all the characters, and that is what the Citadel DLC gave you in spades. Like, it just gave you moments with all these characters, getting to see all of them interact together, all the in-jokes, things like, you know, Blasto and Shepard meeting face to face, and then I particularly like, you know, the I should go joke in the elevator, all of these things. So yeah, it was a blast to do. And every time I went in for a session with Citadel DLC, I was just like, oh man, really? Oh, yeah, everything about that DLC. What about you guys? How did you enjoy your portions of Citadel?
I loved it because it made me happy because I felt like you got to see Jack's friends and stuff. And, you know, like, you got to see a whole new portion of her personality, and to me it showed that she had kind of come to a really like healed place in her journey and was able to make friends with people maybe she didn't like so much throughout the game and just have a good time. So her hair was coming down and I liked it. Is that where I got to dance and people got drunk? That was fun.
Yeah. Totally fun.
What just happened?
Claude.
Well, my main question was already asked, but my sister would kill me if she couldn't get her celebrated doll in a picture with all of you guys. So, would you mind taking a picture with them?
That is a question. Would you mind taking a picture? Yeah. No, we wouldn't mind taking a picture.
So I was wondering, across these 3 games, each of you, especially you, had hundreds of hours of dialogue that had to all react to each other and play off each other. I thought the voice cast did a better job reacting to each other than the actual physical reactions in your game. And I'm kind of wondering how you all did that. Because, I mean, were you in the same room, or how did this work?
I didn't even meet Mark until we had wrapped 3.
Yeah.
I met him like a year and a half ago. There was a whole thing where we ran across the lobby in slow motion.
Yeah, I mean, Kimberly and I just met at Denver on earlier this year, and this is actually the first time that Tricia and I have met. So I met Mr. Hogan at the Canadian Video Game Awards. So it was all after the fact. However, what? Oh, hey. That's what happened. The thing is that because of scheduling and things like that, it's just impractical, and especially because we had a cast that was spread over 3 countries and several continents. So what they use is a system called Beta, and Tricia was talking about it a little earlier, where you have a screen where your lines are coming up. We didn't use it on the first game, but it came in for Mass Effect 2. The Beta system is unique because it also plays the other people's dialogue into your headphones, if they've already recorded. So if you're going first, you're kind of setting the tone. But if you were recording after other people had seen it recorded, you have their performances in your headset. And so it makes it a lot more organic. It makes it a lot more easy to, you're not just acting into a vacuum and like, I hope this is the right reaction. You've got other people's reactions to gauge from.
Wasn't that BioWare's technical?
Yeah, it's a proprietary system. I think they patented it.
Yeah, I think it is. Because I haven't seen it on a lot of games.
That's true, and it's called Beta. But funnily enough, the acronym actually spells BADER. But for somebody else patented on that name apparently, so they called it Beta instead.
That's funny.
That's Canadian.
Beta. Sorry.
The only time I ever worked with Seth Green, we we didn't actually work together, but I'd record all morning, and then he'd show up 1 or 2 times when they had to do like some press shots, photo shots or whatever, and interviews. And he'd come in, it wouldn't be recording, but they'd go, okay, do a couple of the lines. We'd do a couple of the lines, and they'd be filming it, and then like, bye, Tricia, and then Seth would continue. Some of those times you're like, can we just do it together? But yeah, so you never record with anybody else.
Hey, this is a little bit less of a question about Mass Effect specifically, and more generally about acting and voice acting. Obviously, y'all have all had very good careers, you've done multiple characters for multiple TV shows and cartoons, but what is that one role that got away, that one role you really wanted somebody else to beat you to?
That's never happened to me.
Well, actually, I kind of had the job in Knights of the Old Republic. I was the demo version of Courtenay. And funnily enough, Raphael Savage ended up being the Courtenay in the game who plays Peyton. Yeah, so yeah, I was rooting for. I didn't actually think I'd be Cart. I was like, I hope I can hold on to some of those Imperial officers, but no, they didn't. They were wasting it. But you know, I got paid and I got to do work on it. So it's not really a job that got away. It was just like, and I finally got my revenge when I let him die in the game.
Thank you. Payback's a bitch. He saved me. That's good. That's all I care about. I got really close, I think, and I don't remember which series it was, but I think I got really close to Wonder Woman. And I love Wonder Woman. Come on. And yeah, a few callbacks and no more callbacks. So
Take it away, Susan.
thank you. More power to it. But yeah, that was one that I was like. Yeah, I got to play Wonder Woman once, and then they went back to Susan Eisenberg. I read a million times, it felt like a million times to me, for Morgan in Dragon Age. And I couldn't understand why they kept reading me for it, and I kept not getting it. They kept, like, there was callbacks and everything, and I was like, I'm in, this is it, yay. And then I didn't get it. But in retrospect, I'm pretty sure that if I had gotten that I wouldn't have gotten Jack. So if I had to choose, I would go with Jack. So I think I ended up with the Jack.
It's hard to choose. There's so many roles that you want to play because you think you're right for it, but they don't see it that way. So, gosh, I don't even know off the top of my head. I can't figure it out. Okay, I'll put a good thing on it. No shirts, no shoes.
Really? Somebody who plays a tattooed character.
Hey, you come back when you're wearing a belt bra, dude.
Up here, you guys have Memento or Mr. Zaz?
Yeah,
Oh,
Memento.
Okay, cool. Oh no, it is letters. I thought like I've killed this many people. No.
So,
Yeah, not cons.
I think we've all had the experience where you're talking on the phone to somebody you've not yet met, and then you meet them in real life, and you're like, I would not have expected you to look like this, feel like this, based on the voice. So, when this doesn't have to relate to Mass Effect per se, just anything you voice acting career, like, how do you feel when you see the programmer's rendering of your character for the first time? And do you ever have the experience of, you think that my voice looks like that, or does it just really throw you? Is there just ever been a situation, I guess, where you thought that they really screwed it up, and you sort of done it in a different way? What's that experience in general?
Well, actually, in the case of Commander Shepard, Mark Vanderloo was actually cast as the default Shepard, like the physical appearance, before I was cast. Like when I showed up and like was doing my auditions, it was like, this is what the default Shepard looks like. So I was like, I had a picture of him, I knew what he looked like. And it's funny, funnily enough, because like Shepard, of course, look like anything. So I've actually seen some weird-ass Commander Shepherds. There's some people who think it's fun. I want to make his eyes as far apart as they can possibly be. I want to give him a pinhead. I want to... So those all do.
Particularly for Mass Effect, when I saw Jack, because there was not a picture when I auditioned for her, I was like, yeah! I was so stoked because I grew up listening to punk rock, and she's the closest thing to any kind of punk rocker that I had seen in games. So, and then actually when they showed me 3, I was like, oh my god, that was my haircut in high school, that's awesome! But I do voice a character named Starla on a show called Regular Show on Cartoon Network. And I was kind of like, oh, she really needs a bra. That was all I thought. I was like, my voice sounds like I need a bra. That's really oh, man! Well, I'm not really... The question's kind of fuzzy, but I play against, I don't know, type. This is why I love voiceover, because I can play a 10-year-old Hispanic girl on Tricia, or I can play Snowy or Ashley Williams or whatever, and I often don't. I just feel like when I get the artwork of the character, and I didn't have the character for Ashley Williams, the drawing artwork for that either, for the first game. I had no idea. And we had a different director, and she totally described her way different than Ashley ended up turning out to be. So she went through a lot of changes, I thought, as a character. And she found herself, though, by game 3. We knew who Ashley was. But yeah, I feel like I'm constantly trying to come up with the voice that matches the character, because it's hardly ever just like, it's a perfect fit. You know, kind of make it work.
I don't know if it's got anything to do with whether the character there on the screen looks like me or because it sounds, because it's my voice, but when Fallout New Vegas came out, one of my sons, he was in his late 20s at the time, one of his buddies said, I can't get very far into that game because I can't stop shooting your dad.
Yeah, I guess what I did, and I had done Mass Effect, and Edie was obviously a sphere. Loved when she got the body behind you. But then when I went to do Tron Uprising, I didn't really know anything about Tron. And I'm like, so I'm the computer, I'm like the voice of the world or everything. I'm like, but I don't have a sphere? I don't have anything? Like, I don't have any body? I don't have nothing. But I think when I did StarCraft, and I did Sarah Kerrigan first, and it was like, everything, and then she turned into the Queen, I didn't quite know what it looked like. They showed me a picture of it, and I thought, wow, she looks awesome, like the purple hair and the heels, and we made a lot of jokes that she's in heels all the time, but I was up shooting a show in Portland, a guest role, and one of the co-stars was a big Kerrigan fan, and so we wanted to send a picture to his friends. And I was like, I pretended to have my wings like this. And when I looked at the picture, I tweeted it, I looked at the picture, like, damn, I'm long-limbed. It was like, I should not do this. It is not a good image. But yeah, so luckily, most of my characters aren't this big.
Hello. I have a question for Courtenay about the greatest romance of all time.
Oh my God, I will lend you your $20, come on.
Hey, maybe Mark McDaniel too, but not really that important.
But
Most important.
so.
What was your favorite part of the romantic dialogue between Jack and Shepard?
What, sorry, what?
What was the favorite part of the dialogue between Jack and Shepard romance?
My favorite?
Jack, part of the dialogue between Jack and Shepard, like in the romance.
I love it when she gives him the tattoo.
Yeah, that's a nice
Makes
moment.
me like, yeah, but I also just loved all of the parts where, I just was like, go to my room. I mean, that appeals to me as well, but I thought they wrapped things up with the tattoo.
that was a nice little touch. And
I'm gonna actually tattoo him now.
yes.
I brought my kit. It's gonna be amazing. Good. What was your thing?
Tattoo.
All right.
The tattoo that's about to happen.
Hey guys, I just wanted to say you did an amazing job voicing Jack, and the scene that always gets me is right before the suicide mission where she goes to his cabin, because I chose the romance option with Jack, and he just looks at her and he's like, "It's okay, no more questions." That scene made me cry. My question for y'all is, what was the most difficult part about starting your careers in voice acting, and what was the most valuable advice that you received?
Well, difficulty, again, like I went to an audition and then landed the gig, and so it wasn't that difficult per se. But I'd say, yeah, good advice in general. The best advice I got was, just acting and being professional. Always show up on time. You'd be surprised how much depends on showing up on time. So that's always a good advice I got.
I fell kind of, as I mentioned earlier, I fell into voice acting, so hugely thankful for that. And probably a nice piece of advice I got, which is on the technical side, and the studios usually have this, but always have to be amplified, because your voice makes clicks sometimes, especially if you're starting and voicing a lot and you're getting tired, or your voice is getting tired, and the green apple, for some reason, it's up on a green apple and it clicks. So, thank you.
Hey, so I guess it was funny on the way in, it seemed like there was a bit of surprise at how long the line was getting, and at the beginning it seemed like a little bit of surprise about how many of us that are here. So I guess, what has been surprising to you about the fans' experience of it, especially based on the work that you did, and how it seems that we all are obviously very excited about the property, and I think especially with Michael and Tricia, when you're part of another great big property, is there anything that's been surprising about the fan experience for Mass Effect?
I can start. I'm so incredibly impressed with this group of fans, all you guys, how creative and bright, intelligent, really progressive people love this game. It's been, I'm always impressed every time I come to a convention, every time I have conversations. I mean, you guys are just such an incredible, and I'm not blowing smoke up your ass just because you're sitting in front of me. It's true. There's something about it, the way that this game was made and the material that I covered, that it's just an incredibly wonderful group of people that love this game. And I can sit and talk to, I've done a lot of games, and no disrespect to anybody who likes other franchises or anything, but overall I would just say the passion for this game, the creativity, I see the cosplay, the emotion that that, you know, the connection that we had was amazing. Go.
I'll just jump on that bandwagon. Creativity especially. I mean, you see there's fantastic costumes that are sitting here in the audience with you in this very room. Like the first time that I saw someone as Shepard walk past me at a con, like that blew my mind. And every year it just seems like more and more awesome things, like characters that I never would have thought people would have pulled off successfully as costumes. I mean, last year at Dragon Con, I think there was like a Geth Prime that was like 25 feet tall. Like they brought it down from people's rooms in pieces and assembled it in the lobby. And it's always amazing to see the passion and the creativity that Mass Effect fans bring to cons, especially.
Yeah, same thing. I never experienced anything like this before. I've been doing this for so long, working in television and really popular cartoons, but it wasn't until this game, which also Bioware, like just having an awesome female player character.
I know. I was like, thank you.
she's like just a really good friend, and I wouldn't know her if it wasn't for this game. So it's been amazing. It really has.
How do you follow that?
No, exactly. I don't really have anything to add. It's exact sentiments.
Firstly, I'd just like to say thank you for coming to DragonCon. It's really cool and it's surreal to hear these voices I know so well in person right here. I just want to say, you mentioned the beta system you use for voice acting. Was there any kind of system I know that some studios use where you look at the scene that you're voice acting, you looked at the characters, and you...
On rare occasions, it was generally only in cases where we needed to specifically time something out, we'd look at an animatic. And usually visuals were done so long after we recorded something, so it would be very rough, and so it would just feel almost like mannequins going through the motions and things like that. But yeah, it was only in special cases where they needed to really sync up dialogue with an action that was happening on screen or some kind of action sequence. For the most part, it was you were just looking at the screen with words.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, so I actually had a question regarding to the Citadel DLC. So if anybody hasn't played that for whatever reason, cover yours for 30 seconds.
It's been out for a while.
So I was just wondering if any of you had any particular favorite plot twists or plot moments in the series, and in particular, how you reacted to finding out about the Shepard clone in the DLC.
Shepard clone was one that was just really? A Shepard clone? But as was mentioned, a lot of the time when we go in, this is the first time we're discovering what's happening. It's not like they call us up a week before and say, oh, by the way, this is the scene that's happening, or, it's certainly not when they're writing. So as soon as I showed up and saw that there was a Shepard clone, I was like, oh, I got a brilliant idea. What if Cerberus reversed the X and Y chromosomes so that male Shepard fights an evil female clone and female Shepard fights an evil male clone? And it's too late. Just do it. Just think like that. This is written now, so just do the thing. So yeah, that was fun. I quite enjoyed that.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, it is. I'm sure somebody could do it on YouTube. You just have to cut two games together. So someone get on that, please. Someone get on that.
I'm just going to preface this by saying I'm a random person, and I think this is the best panel at DragonCon. And you were saying, especially you, Mark, you were saying that you can't do because on Monday you're going to be able to see the rest of the con. What other things at the con were you wanting to experience? What do you think about DragonCon?
Well, DragonCon, I've been coming to DragonCon as a fan since 1998. Crap I want to do here. So first day when the dealer's room opened, I was there because I'm going to get very little time in the dealer's room. I did power shopping, buy this, buy this, buy this. So I kind of covered that into things. I'm also doing a bunch of shows with the puppetry track. We did the adult improv puppet show last night. I'm doing the puppet slam on Sunday night at midnight. I was really gratified when DragonCon sent me my schedule. I was told I was doing a DC Comics panel with Mike Grell, who's a very influential, legendary comic book artist, and I thought it was a mistake, but they actually had me moderate. So it was fantastic. I got to, meet an artist that I really liked, and I basically just got to monopolize it, ask whatever questions I wanted, and have a chat with them. And then at the end, it's hey, we got about 7 minutes left for audience questions, so... And plus, I've got a lot of friends in Atlanta, and a lot of friends who come here to DragonCon, so... And I do costumes and stuff like that. I'll be wandering around as Hunter S. Thompson, agent of Hydra tonight, so... Yeah, there's everything that you like to do at DragonCon, that's what I like to do at DragonCon. And it's hard to do it if I'm just signing autographs. So I just do that on one day. Yeah, I'm a nerd who got lucky and got a gig.
Doesn't sleep.
My question is for Mark, primarily. My favorite scene in the entire series is the scene where Shepard finds Tali drunk. And I just gotta know, especially reading that for the first time, what was your reaction to that beautiful scene?
I thought it was great. I really like the way that humor was injected into the game. Because I'm primarily an improv comedian. That's kind of my training, what I do most. outside of voiceover. So every time that they injected a little humor and things like that, that was fun. So, occasionally I get to play comic relief characters like Plasto and some of the more were like that, or If Ducal, Violent God. But especially when it was actually in Shepherd and like him interacting. And I think they even have Tally has a line about, he goes like, Tally. It's like, you sound like a Borgia. And I played all of the Borgia, so that was quite fantastic.
This is for all of you, although I apologize, it's a little harder for our BSG cast members. If you had to switch roles with any other character, what role would you choose to voice besides your own?
Bruce.
I think Jennifer's Shepherd.
I would pick, and it's actually a voice that I got to do in the demo stuff because they changed actors between the second and third game. So for E3, they had me do all of Gordon's dialogue, and I knew I wasn't going to actually be, in the final game in 3. But it was really fun getting to play Gordon, and he is one of my favorite characters in the game when I played NPCs. So yeah, I'll say Gordon.
I love Morgan, but I would probably want to even Brent.
Or, I also like bad guys, so I think, maybe the elusive man, but then I wouldn't have got to meet Martin Sheen, so, yeah.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Since I haven't heard it asked yet, sorry. I'm interested in what you guys are doing now, doing next. What are you working on since the end of the beginning?
Upcoming projects and whatnot?
Sure, that you aren't,
that we could talk about.
that you did sign a piece of paper that hasn't
There's nowadays there's non-disclosure agreements with almost everything that you do. There's a show in Canada that's shot in Newfoundland called Republic of Doyle, and Newfoundland's a small rock. There's not that many people who live there, and I'm downtown St. John's shooting. And they told me when I got there, Hogan, don't tell anybody that you're in the show. I said, buddy, would you be like Republic of Doyle too? They said, yeah, of course, when I'm down, going to a restaurant or into a shop, they say, hey, Michael Hogan, Jesus Christ, what the fuck are you doing here, what? I said, well, I can't really say, well, I have to tell you, just between you and me, I'm doing an episode of Republic of Doyle, but don't say nothing, okay? Oh, your secret's good with me, Mike? So, I've got a lot of things going on, but because of these goddamn NDAs, I can't tell you a sausage.
I'm actually all too willing to talk about my low-budget Canadian TV show, which actually is on DragonCon TV. We're exclusive to Super Channel, the low-rent Canadian version.
Is that fully cast?
Yeah, it still exists. It's still
Is it fully cast?
It's still always fully. Actually, no. We need you for 4th season. We need you for 4th season. And actually, funnily enough, an old friend of Michael's, Francis Danberger, is our director for that. So yeah, we're gonna get you a version. And I should mention, it's on DragonCon TV. We've got some sketches that are playing Tiny Plastic Things called, and we're very close to a deal with Hulu, so Americans might actually be able to watch it. I think I've been clear to talk about, I'm in Dragon Age Inquisition, which is coming out soon. Awesome, the bits I've seen look so good. And also there's a game called The Long Dark, which is a post-disaster Canadian survival game, or as we call it, Canada in Winter. And that's coming from Control Studios, so that's coming out. And Jennifer Hale is in that game with me. Along with a little gentleman by the name of David Hayter. Yeah.
I do have a new game coming up, but I'm not allowed to say. But it's based off of it was a hit movie that a friend. I'm going to say because you guys will figure it out. friend of mine played the role that I'm playing in the game. I just wrapped on a new show for Sci-Fi called Ascension, and wrapped 3 days ago, and it premieres on Sci-Fi November 24th. So
I'm in some huge games that are coming out in 2015 and 2016. So I'm doing a new game called Evolve. So make sure that you play now. I'm on a regular show playing Starla and some bunch of chicks. Yeah, that's all I can talk about. I'm in one of those games with you that's coming up that we can't talk about. Yeah, I'm like the NDAs, even with she'll break them. She's the weak link. I don't know. She opens her mouth and I'm like, oh, shit. Don't ask me too many questions. Sorry. That, and I'm on Docking Stuffing, which is a fantastic show. And there's going to be a really cool guest star this season, but I can't say that either.
Nicki Minaj.
You guys have all
Oh my
these.
God! Speaking of Nicki Minaj, I did the live announcing for the MTV Video Music Awards. That was last Sunday. Did anybody see that? Nicki Minaj on that show, or her rear end. Yeah, that was pretty fun. I never did that before. Super stressful. If anyone's interested in getting into voiceover, don't start with live announcing because there's a lot going on in your head. And then also, I think I can talk about this. I used to be in this show called Mucha Lucha. And I loved at Kids WB. It was so fun with Candy Milo and Carlos Alazraki. It was just a great show. And actually, the rest of the cast was Canadian. I never met them because they were in Canada. But we may be trying to get that show to come back because we just did some stuff and it's really, really funny. So I don't know, you guys, it's really old, you might be too young, some of you, to remember it, but look it up, find it, it's really, really funny show. So that's a couple things.
It's funny, you guys have all these NDAs. When I do shows, they're just like, for God's sake, tell someone about it.
Because you're Canadian.
That's why.
Okay, we have 5 minutes, so let's blow through some questions so we don't blow. Maybe one question.
Maybe one, maybe two.
Hi, I just want to say I'm a really big fan of the game series, and this is a question for everyone. Of the games that you voice acted in, which one is your favorite?
This one.
Yeah, probably the Mass Effect.
I
gave out the Canadian video game. I gave it out the Game of the Year. And who would the game did I give it out to?
I think it's Margaret. Margaret, wasn't it Margaret? Oh, for 2, yes, Mass Effect 2 wasn't it?
That's where we met, and I got to hand out the Canadian video game of the year, and it was Mass Effect 2.
For me, definitely Ashley, this character, and I also liked your Batgirl Oracle. That's really fun.
Yeah, I mean, especially being up here, you know, one of the most amazing games and franchises to be part of. I will say I also really enjoyed Kerrigan. And I have a statute from Video Game Awards because of her, so I had to give a shout out to her as well.
Is your question super quick? Okay, go.
Yes, now.
You got a minute.
What's your favorite line of scrap dialogue?
That was good.
You mean dialogue that got cut from the game? Oh.
You know what? I don't actually know what got cut because the game is so huge. Like I wouldn't know.
I was really sad when they abandoned that chimpanzee sidekick that you ever had. They were going to drive around in a semi-truck and fight crime. Oh, that was BJ and the Bears, right?
I don't remember.
Hey guys, I'm sorry to ask this. It could have been a long question, but there's no more time. I was going to ask you as voice actors, because you make something relatable to everyone to watch, people who feel characters when you do them. Which form of acting is harder for you, for like anime, video games, or American TV? Which one do you find is more difficult and why? Sorry, I know it's not short, that's what I was thinking.
Well, the main advantage to voice work is that pants are optional. You can wear pants if you want, but it's optional.
So glad we record alone. On camera is hardest for me because I'm like, wait, no, take the script away. And they're like, no, you can't have it in the scene. Really? Like, you tape it up somewhere? They're like, no, you gotta actually be out of it. Yeah. I legally lost the ability to memorize lines. Yeah. I can't, with motion capture, they need you to memorize. Yeah. That's a little bit, that motion capture, that's what I'm gonna say, is the most difficult.
For me, I would say voiceover because you don't get to work off the other actors, 99% of the time. But physically harder is on camera, especially if scenes where you're getting beaten up, or it's much more physically draining on camera.
It's all quite easy for me.